Good day, everybody. I hope that you are well, and I also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today, we'll be doing our grade 6 English lesson on simple verb tenses. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once we've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, all right, so we'll be doing our grade 6 English lesson on simple verb tenses. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once we've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of English language arts. We're doing grade 6. All right. So now we're going to do simple verb tenses. We said our subject is English. We're doing language arts. We're doing grade 6. And the lessons that we are going to be focusing on under the chapter of simple verb tenses is irregular past tense review and simple past, present, and future tense review. All right. So when it comes to our simple verb tenses, and before we even go to the word simple, if you look at verb tenses, right? Firstly, a verb, it is a doing word, it is an action, it's something that people do, right? And if you look at the word tense, an intense already gives an idea of it's either in the future, it's either in the past, or it's in the present. That means it is to do with tense. So, which means that if we talk about verb tenses, then it means that we need to talk about the action that takes place either in the present, in the past, or in the future. So we talk about simple verb tenses, right? Firstly, most of our verbs are regular in the past tense. And when we talk about regular or it being regular in the past tense, then it means that there are specific rules that they follow when it comes to what you need to add or what you shouldn't add when it comes to a specific word or the verb. All right. So we said that when it comes to simple verb tenses, then most of our verbs are regular in the past tense. Regular meaning that we follow specific rules when it comes to our verbs. We need to follow rules. That means it is regular. And if we say we need to follow rules and they say add ed, add this, add that, then it means that you need to continue using that because that is a rule. All right. So when it comes to, we're going to start with our verbs within the regular past tense before we go on to the irregular past tense. So the verb within the regular past tense, this means that we need to follow specific rules, as I mentioned, right? And when it comes to the regular past tense, our rule is that we need to add ed or we need to add d to get the past tense form of the word. So once again, we said most of our verbs are regular in the past tense. And when it is regular in the past tense, then it means that it follows a rule by saying after each of the verb, in order to find the past tense, we need to just add ed to our verb to show the past tense form of that word. The same word we just added d, right? And that is to get the past tense form of the verb. All right. So we see that when it comes to regular past tense. All right. So we said we add an ed or we add a d to get the past tense form of the verb. So now some verbs are irregular in the past tense. So we said that when it is regular, then all we do is we add either d or we add an ed to our verb to show the regular past tense. But now we're going on to the irregular in the past tense. So when it comes to irregular past tense, right, the irregular forms of the past tense, then it means that we don't follow any rule. Remember, we said that with regular verbs, we follow a rule by adding d or adding ed to make our to get the past tense form of the verb. But now, if we go to irregular past tense, right, then it means that irregular past tense means that we don't follow any specific rules. You're just going to have to remember the word as it goes along. You're going to have to remember what the verb is. All right. And some of our verbs that are irregular in the past tense, right? Remember, we said that when it's irregular in the past tense, you don't follow any rule. You're just gonna have to remember the wording because by now, with irregular past tense, it's as if the whole verb changes, right? It's no more of just adding a d, adding ed. The verb changes now. All right. Now we're going to look at an example of irregular past tense. It says, did is the irregular past tense of do, right? If you look at it says Louis did his homework. So it says Louis did his homework, right? But now it means that did for did his homework, it is the irregular past tense of to do. So you do something, but in the past tense, I did something. I think about something now. I think about something now. In the past, I about something. What is the word think? What is the past tense form of the word think? I say something now, and in the past, I What is the past tense form of those words? Remember, the wording changes. It's not going to be thinked. It's not going to be thinks. So if we look at the word think and we look at the word say, what do you think is the irregular past tense of the word think? I think about it now, but yesterday I about it. I sat and I about it. What is think? And the word that is the irregular past tense of the word think. So the past tense of think is I think about it now, but yesterday I thought about it. So the past tense of think is thought. I say he must do the dishes. Say. What is the past tense of the word say? All right. And say. The past tense of say is I say something now, but yesterday I said something. And just see how the wording changes. So thought and think, say and said. And we said the wording changes. And here we have examples of think is in the past tense, thought is now. Say, I say something, I said something. And now when it comes to, for example, our simple past, simple present, and simple future tense, right? Our present tense form or present tense verb, it tells you about something that is either true or that is happening right now. That is the verb, right? The present tense form of the verb, it must agree with the subject in number. All right. So we said that when it comes to present tense verbs, then it tells you about something that is true. This is how the present tense verbs. It tells us about something that is true. And our present tense verbs, it also tells us about something that is happening right now, right? The present tense form of a verb, it needs to agree with the subject in number. And when we talk about it agreeing with the subject in number, right, then we must think either of it being singular or plural. Singular subjects, they go with singular verb, and then plural subjects, they go with plural verbs. That is our present tense verbs. And you'll even see after time, like it's our wording still changes when it comes to the irregular past tense. All right. So now we're going to a plus students.ca. And we're going to the irregular past tense review. And remember, I say that when it comes to the irregular past tense, then it means that the wording changes. The wording changes, or let's say the verb changes. That's the word. And we need to look at the irregular past tense. It says we need to complete the sentence with the verb in the past tense, the irregular verb in the past tense. It says when the parking attendant backed the car into the space too quickly, he accidentally the curb. Hit the curb, hits the curb. So the word hit is in brackets. It says when the parking attendant backed the car into the parking space too quickly, he accidentally hit the curb, hits the curb. What is our correct answer? And if we were to find the correct word within that sentence, right, that says when the parking attendant backed the car into the space too quickly, he accidentally, and hit will stay the same. He accidentally hit the curb. So not hits the curb, hit the curb. Yes, well done. Only one, like hit, only hit without the S. So well done. All right. Let's look at the next one. The next one says the guest conductor. So the guest conductor stride to the stage. We need to look at the word in the past tense of the word stride. To the stage, bowed to the audience, and then turned to face the orchestra. Stride. What is stride in the past? All right. So stride. What is the past tense of the word stride? The guest conductor stride to the stage. We need to find the past tense of the word stride. So when it comes to the irregular past tense, the wording changes, right? So even when it comes to stride, it says the guest conductor stride. And if we were to find the irregular past tense, we can say that she strode to the stage. Stride, strode. So strode. So strode. It is the past tense verb. So we say that the guest conductor stride to the stage, bowed to the audience, and then turned to face the orchestra. And we say that the word stride, the past tense verb, is to strode. And remember, we said the word stride, it is strode. All right. So now, when we have words, right? So some of our verbs within the irregular past tense, right? Remember, with irregular past tense, we don't follow a rule like we did in the others. Like we don't follow a rule, so we're not gonna say you need to add this, take away that. You just need to, for example, the wording changes. Sometimes it's like one letter in the word, two letters in the word that changes, but the wording changes. And we made an example of stride. All right. And remember, we said that most verbs are regular. And it says that excited at the prospect of a boat ride around the bay, Lexi sling. We need to find the past tense of the word sling. Lexi sling her canvas bag onto the deck and scrambled abroad. Sling. All right. So, what is the past tense of sling? Excited at the prospect of a boat ride around the bay, Lexi sling her canvas bag onto the deck and scrambled abroad. Sling, the past tense of the word sling. All right. And once again, before we even continue, before I go into the irregular past tense test, remember when it comes to irregular past tense, the wording changes, right? All right. So sling, right? We need to find the word that is the past tense of sling. It says excited at the new prospects of a boat around the bay. All right. So stride. What is the sling? Sorry. What is the past tense of sling? And if we were to if we were to find the past tense of sling, then we would say slung. Like he sling the thing. He slung her canvas bag. She sling the bag. She slung the canvas bag. Right. So when it comes to irregular past tense, then we can't just add an ed or a d. Right? The wording changes. Like I said, it's either a letter change or two letters change, or the whole word changes. Right? So now we're going on to our test. We're going on to our test where we are going to review the irregular past tense. And like I said, the wording changes, right? It's either one letter, two letters, or the whole word changes within the past tense. We need to complete the sentence with the verb in the past tense. I Do I say I bring option one or I brought Rick home to meet my family? All right. And we say, I bring Rick home to meet my family. What is the past tense of bring? Is it option one, bring, or option two, brought? The past tense of bring. All right. So we need to now also, like we said, that if we, the past tense of bring is brought. I brought Rick home to meet my family. And if you look at the word Rick and you look, bring and you look at the word brought, can you see how the wording changes from bring to brought? And that is how it is in the irregular past tense. With irregular past tense, the wording changes. It can either be one letter, it can be two letters, or the whole specific word changes. And that is why we cannot say, okay, add ed or okay, add d to that specific word. No, there is no guide to what we need to do when it comes to the irregular past tense. Ne? So well done. Brought is correct. So I brought Eric home to meet my family. So well done. Brought is correct. The guest conductor stride to the stage, bowed to the audience, and then turned to face the orchestra. Stride. What is the past tense of stride? Is it option one, stride, or option two, strode? So we said that the guest conductor, sorry, stride to the stage. What is the past tense of stride? Is it option one, stride, or option two, strode? So stride to the stage, bowed to the audience, and then turned to face the orchestra. We need to complete the sentence with the correct verb. Stride. What is the past tense of stride? Is it strode? All right. So which guest conductor stride to the stage? And if we were to look at the word stride, the past tense of stride is strode. to the stage, bowed to the audience, and then turned to face the orchestra. Yes, well done. Option two is correct. All right, the next one says after the American colonies declared their independence, 55 men undertake the difficult task of writing our country's constitution. We need to find the past tense of undertake. All right, so undertake. We need to find the past tense of undertake. It says after the American colonies declared their independence, 55 men declare. We need to find the past tense of declare the difficult task of writing our country's constitution. So it says that after the American colonies declared the independence, 55 men undertake. We need to find the past tense of undertake. Is it undertaken, option one, or undertook, option two? All right. So it says after the American colonies declared their independence, 55 men undertaken or undertook the difficult task of writing the country's constitution. And if we were to look at the correct option, we will say they undertook the difficult task of writing our country's constitution. All right, so this is now the end of our lesson on simple verb tense. Remember, we said that when it comes to simple verb tense, right? Yes, if we have a regular past tense, then we just follow the rule of adding d or ed. But in our irregular past tense, the wording changes, right? The one word can either be a letter, two letters, or the whole word changes. And you're just going to have to remember the past tense form of that verb when it comes to the irregular past tense. All right, so this is now the end of our lesson. Grade 6, thank you very much for joining our class. Thank you for interacting. And I really hope that you're going to have a good day further. Goodbye.